This is the TUTTIO ICT. The first ride felt like flipping a switch from bicycle to small electric motorcycle, with the kind of pull that makes steep hills feel flat and long rides feel short. It fits into the high-power, fat tire, full suspension electric bike category. I see it working best for riders who want real speed and long range, who like a bold design, and who are comfortable handling a heavier machine. I would suggest it for confident adults who do not mind an aggressive riding position and who want something that can handle mixed surfaces without blinking. The design looks rugged because it is rugged. The aluminum frame feels solid and not decorative. The whole bike weighs around 103 pounds, and that matters. Lifting it into a car or carrying it upstairs is a workout. On the ground, that weight translates to stability and a planted feel at speed. The 20-inch by 4-inch fat tires have a wide, round profile that gives real grip on potholes, graded bridges, gravel, and even a patch of soft sand I chanced across near a river trail. The suspension is a mix of an inverted front shock and an air spring setup in the rear. It smooths out daily bumps and curb cuts well enough, but it can feel clunky when I hit a larger dip or a sharp edge, and I have had it bottom out a couple of times. The adjustments are limited, so I could not dial it in as much as I wanted. The riding position is on the aggressive side. I am 5 feet 8 inches, and the seat height and reach push me a little forward. I can manage it, but for slow, casual cruising, I sometimes wished for a more upright stance. The brand suggests it fits riders from 5 feet 2 inches to 6 feet 6 inches. Based on my time riding it, I think taller riders will be fine. But if you are under 5 feet 7 inches, the reach and the seat height may feel like a stretch. The frame is strong enough for racks and bags, which is useful, and the central display is large and easy to see in daylight and at night. There is a built-in headlight and a rear light that are genuinely bright, and I like that they are integrated because I do not need to worry about separate batteries or mount points. Getting it ready to roll was straightforward. I charged the battery fully the first night and took a moment to set the bars and seat for my height. The controls are simple, with a thumb throttle on the right, a motorcycle-style twist shifter for the gears, and clear buttons for power and menu changes. The liquid crystal display shows speed, battery, and assist levels in a way that I can read at a glance. There is no learning curve that gets in the way. I just picked a pedal assist level, checked the lights, and rode. The first thing I noticed when I hit the street was throttle response. It is very quick. The motor gives a strong surge as soon as I roll on with my thumb, and if I push it hard from a standstill, the front end can feel light. The official top speed is stated in the mid-40 mile/hour range, and that lines up with how it pulls. This kind of thrust is fun, and it is also something to respect. Holding a slow speed, like around 10 miles/hour on a crowded path, takes a careful touch. The throttle can feel twitchy, with not a lot of gentle ramp between barely moving and surging forward. I learned to use the lowest pedal assist levels on paths with pedestrians and to save the throttle for open streets. On pedal assist, there is a noticeable delay. I usually need about a full turn and a half of the cranks before the motor wakes up and helps. Once it does, the power arrives strong. If the battery runs down completely, the bike is heavy to pedal on its own, so I plan my rides to avoid that. Power and range are the heart of this machine. The battery is a 60-volt, 25-amp-hour lithium pack that is removable, which matters more than it sounds. I can charge it inside without dragging the whole bike in. From empty to full took me around 8 to 10 hours using the included charger. The motor is a rear hub rated at 4,000 watts at peak. That translates to real torque that pushes uphill like a small scooter. My real-world range on throttle only was right around 31 to 33 miles, using a mix of city streets, stop-and-go traffic, and a few trail segments. On pedal assist, babying the power and staying in the lower levels, I could stretch that a lot farther, but I rarely ride that gently. Overheating happened once, and I think it is worth calling out. I did a series of long, slow climbs and then played around on a sandy hill. The motor cut out to protect itself. I let it rest, and it came back after a short break. On normal city rides or on firm trails, I have not had it happen again. Braking is excellent. The bike uses a 4-piston hydraulic disc brake system front and rear. The lever feel is smooth, and there is plenty of stopping power without drama. Hard stops on pavement feel steady, hard stops on gravel feel predictable, and the fat tires add to the sense of control. At 20 to 30 miles per hour, which is where I spend most of my time on this bike, it feels secure and composed. For testing, I used it like I would use a fast commuter that can handle some fun. There is a section of my daily route with broken asphalt and a couple of nasty potholes where car drivers swerve. The tires and suspension took the edge off and kept me tracking straight. On a river trail with loose gravel and a short stretch of soft sand, I stayed upright without fishtailing. Climbing a long suburban hill, the bike did not bog down. The motor stayed quiet with a faint electric whine that I stopped noticing after a few rides. On a downtown night ride, the headlight threw a wide beam that made me more visible and made me feel better about spotting road debris. I ran a few panic stop drills in a parking lot to get a feel for the brakes, and they held up without fade. One very specific use case that clicked for me is a cross-town commute that mixes streets, a short park path, and a steep shortcut. I leave in the early morning with a backpack, and sometimes a small grocery bag strapped to the rear. I start in pedal assist 2 to get rolling smoothly, then use the throttle to merge with traffic. On the park segment, I switch back to low pedal assist because the throttle is too jumpy for close quarters. When I hit the steep shortcut, I roll back on the throttle and it pulls me up without having to stand on the pedals. I reach work without breaking a sweat, and I still have plenty of battery to run errands after. That is what this bike does well. It turns mixed terrain into a simple A to B without making me think about route planning or momentum. There are some small touches that make the experience better. The removable battery is huge for apartment living. The centered display is easy to read in sunlight, and at night the dimming makes it comfortable. The included helmet and goggles surprised me by not feeling like throwaway extras. They will not replace my main helmet, but they are good to have as a backup or for a friend. The frame has the stiffness to carry a rack and bags without wagging the tail, and I plan to add a rear rack and an extra light near the axle. It is not perfect. The suspension needs more adjustability and more plushness to handle larger hits without bottoming out. The throttle is hard to feather at a walking or jogging pace, and I would love a softer initial ramp. The pedal assist delay is noticeable and can feel awkward in stop and go riding. Also, this bike is fast enough to exceed the legal limits for many bike paths and city bike lanes. If your commute goes through regulated areas, you may need to lock the speed down or stick to streets where higher speeds are allowed. The weight makes it a bear to carry upstairs, so plan where you will store it. My take after living with it is simple. If you want real muscle in an electric bike, and you want a machine that feels stable at speed and can cover long distances on throttle or with light pedaling, the TUTTIO ICT is a blast. It shines for taller or larger riders, for people who want that small motorcycle feel without getting a motorcycle license, and for commuters who want to flatten hills and eat up distance. If you are under 5 feet 7 inches, or if you prefer a very upright posture and a plush, highly tunable suspension, there are better fits. If you mostly ride slow on crowded paths, the jumpy throttle and the sheer power may not be your friend. For mixed city and light trail riding, and for anyone who values power, distance, and a tough build, it delivers on what it promises. If this video helped, please subscribe to the channel and tell me what you want to know in the comments. Thank you for watching.